Hello, this is Tanisha J, and welcome to Cosmic Roots Alchemy. Today we are going to be doing a reading on Derek Samuel, the young man who was found in the woods dead. For some time, they had him missing and they were looking for him. And then finally, I want to say about a week or so ago, they found his body in the woods, stating it was suicide. Before we begin this reading, I want to start a little housekeeping and to say that these readings are only tarot readings that are reflective tools that having a conversation with spirit. Please use your discernment. Take what resonates and what does not, leave it. And this is only for entertainment purposes. This is not any truth. This is just conversation with spirit, and that's it. Now, let's begin first with Derek Samuels. Let's see what Spirit has to say about this case and this situation. From what I've learned, it's so many stories, it's so many pieces about this young man's friend and another young lady. It's a lot going on in this case, and let's see what Spirit has to say about it. First, let's begin. Do a quick read. First came out as ancestors. What would the ancestors like to say about the situation? What would the ancestors like for us to know what is going around? It came out weeks. May happen in a few days, next week, or in a few weeks. So we may find something about this case in the next week or so. More information may come out. And it has lovers, romance, intimacy, sex affairs, dating, attraction, flirting. Usually when my lovers card come out, that card is basically talking about a relationship. So it has something to do with who he had a relationship with. They could have been doesn't necessarily have to be lovers, but they could have been very close friends. Or a partner, a girlfriend or so. It says, close your mouth. It is important. It says, keep it to yourself. Keep all secrets. You talk too much. It is important that they're telling each other to close your mouth. Do not talk now. Do not talk now. Don't say anything. This remains between me and you. Then it says, choices. Time to make a decision. Soon a decision will be made. Choose wisely. So I'm thinking I'm going to connect it with weeks. There probably may be someone who want to speak and want to say something, and they're telling them you better make a choice, because the choice you make can create all type of ripple effects. It can cause you in trouble, get us in trouble, get your short story straight. It can be in that situation. And it says spirits surround you. Now spiritual activity or contact. So there is spirit guiding this situation right now. Spirit is currently guiding the situation right now and looking over it for what has happened to Derek Samuels. Let's draw a couple more cards and see what else needs to be said. The spirit has anything to say about his friends. The spirit has anything to say about friends or whomever or what else happened. Draw a few more cards, then we go ahead to the next. Some other questions. Is there anything else? Abusive. Energy of abusive, sexual, physical, mental, verbal, or drugs. Intuition. Third party. So there may have been something that had been telling Derek, it says, hell yeah. Telling Derek to move another direction. Be mindful of the people who he's around. Be mindful of how people treat him, what they're saying, what they do to him. And third party is making me feel like there's many people who have their hands in the situation and know many things about what happened to him. So let's keep our eyes out and let's see. And I'm going to put this card up because this card did come out and said, hell yeah. As into all of this is true. All of this is happening right now. So let's look out for the next few weeks and see if we have any more information coming out of this this case. Last card, guilty. Shame, lies, they did that shit. Okay. Now, let's go on to our next reading and see what else is going to come out. Spirit, speak to me about the police. They stated that it is a shut case. It's closed right now because they're stating that it was a case of suicide. Are the police really telling the truth that it was a case of suicide? Are they really believing it was a case of suicide? Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna let these out. It said destroyed, a shattered, broken, completely ruined. I feel like it's telling us that, I don't know why it's going towards this, like maybe the evidence that's surrounding this case is destroyed. They really couldn't get much out of it, so they had no choice but to rule it as of that. I think it's more like a, I don't know why I'm seeing this. Like, I don't know what else to do with it. They're scratching their heads. I don't know why I'm seeing this. They were scratching their heads when they found the body, and it was like, well, what do we do with? Because they were confused. They were like, we were here. We were here. So how this happened? Like, how this? So they were confused. They feel like things have been destroyed. But may have felt like there were some bad choices that were made during the investigation. However, they are still keeping their eyes out. They believe there were some relationships that Derek had that was toxic, that was brought on to his demise. Get 2 more cards. What else would you like to say about the police officers in this case, Spirit? What is surrounding? What is the energy surrounding it? Falling apart. Putting on a show. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm trying to find, I feel like and I'm not sure because I felt like it. I was thinking about burning evidence. Situation is about to explode. New beginnings. I feel, okay, let me tell you what I feel. Because again, like we said, this is not truth. This is only alleged. This is only thoughts. I feel like the police officers, they realized the evidence and everything that they could use has been destroyed. They would dig a little deeper. They know that the relationships that he had was toxic, and there were some bad choices made within those relationships that caused his demise. However, I feel like they're looking at a situation. I don't want to say this is relationship because I feel like they're going to come back with some other evidence or something saying we found something else or something led us to believe now. Again, we put this here falling apart into pieces. Not only is this falling apart into pieces, the evidence and everything, but I feel like the stories are going to be falling apart, and it's going with new evidence is going to come in, and the situation is going to explode, and they're going to have to open that case again. Right now, putting on a show, I'm going to be honest with you. Putting on a show, and like I said, I may be wrong. Putting on a show, they're saying this is what it is to kind of to put as a trap to the others to feel relief. Like, well, they said that it's a suicide, so we don't have to worry about it. So that means they're not looking at any of us, when they are really looking at someone, and they're looking at who his hater was, because they believe he had a hater that did this to him. He had someone did this to him. So therefore, you might see an investigation. Will an investigation open up again? You might see an investigation open up again with this case. There may be another investigation open up because they may find new situations that will occur. So they still are, I think they're still investigating. So they're just watching and seeing who make a mistake, seeing who moves, And who says anything else in this case? Because in my heart of heart and my bones of bones, I think they don't believe that it was a suicide. I really don't believe they think that. They are way too smart. Okay, now let's move ahead onto the other cards. The next question is, can you please show me the energetic energy around the friends? What is currently, no, let's go first. What happened? What was the energy around the day Derek went missing? What was the energy surrounding Derek and his friends the day he went missing? That day he went into Target, he left, and they stated that he was missing. Can you show us the energy that surrounded Derek and his friends that day? What was happening? What was the energy surrounding Derek and his friends at that time? What was happening? We have contemplation, inner guidance, self-introspection, solitude, meditation, enlightenment, reflection. So there was some, okay. Put these cards down. Huh. I got money. Okay. First, let's begin with the cards that we have put down first. There was some contemplation and some things that were going on at that time. It could have been contemplation of what they were going to do, and contemplation could be very well be they went out, they were thinking about what they were going to do for that day and how they were, our contemplation could possibly, but I'm going to say this because this Nine of Pentacles come reverse, and when Nine of Pentacles come reverse, this says that there is some deceit. So there were probably some contemplations of some deceit. That's when a person is the person is doing basically work, how do I put it? Like they're doing things with you and for you, but it's really not necessarily it's for the good of them. So what I'm going to say contemplation, and when I say contemplation, deceit, they probably was contemplating on what's going to happen, what was going to be the next step, what was surrounding. They could have very well known, and with the Sun card, let me stop. Let me go back. They could have very well known something was going to happen that day. Because with the Sun card, this is constant. This is basically conflicts. Conflicts that has happened. Ego, lack of clarity, disappointment. There could have been someone there who was very negative, pessimistic about him or whatever. They could have been in a conflict. They could have known of a conflict or whatever. And it was contemplation of something that was going to happen that day from a conflict, from a situation previously before. And Derek could not have known anything about it. He could have possibly had no idea that this was going to go down. He was just there with his friends. Again, this comes from, now when you have your Nine of Cups, this is arrogance, gluttony, this is envy, everything. So it could have been, like they say, smugness, indulgence, hedonism. They could have looked at him like, oh, he think he has this, he think he has that, because that's an envy card right there by himself. And he could have seen him as the basic, like he has everything. He's confident. He has this, he has that. And that could have been a feeling towards of how, and the reason why being is under that Nine of Pentacles reversed with the King of Pentacles, he could have been a person who had more. Because sometimes people are like, why would you be envying me? We're in the same boat. I still XYZ, da 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 da. However, there's always someone who feel you have more than them, or who wants to have your life, but they cannot walk a day in your shoe. And again, let's do this right here. This was underneath this. This is a conflict card again. Conflict, arguments, things to go through, bad seed of intentions, a person who has and who's living in a good life. They could have been all that surrounded from this. And this right here, the page, excuse me, The Page of Wands, that's bad news. And the Page of Wands is young. That's 20. That can be representing him of all this, everything that's surrounding him. This was going towards him, of the issue about what they were thinking, contemplating to do to him, just because of they felt he probably had favor, but he had a lot of bad energy surrounding him. To be honest with you, he had a lot of people surrounding him who were not for him. He just did not know. I don't know if he knew, and he continued to, continue to be friends, because we do that. But he had a lot of bad energy around him, and he may have made decisions because they may have been friends for a while, or there was such a loyalty or so, whatever. But Derek had a lot of energy, had a lot of bad energy surrounding him that day. People who were not for him. Next question. The story that Derek friends gave, were they telling the truth? The story that they gave about Derek missing, Derek leaving, and Derek heading out some way. What is it, a true story that they told? Were the story Derek friends gave, was it truth? Intuition, divine, secret knowledge, spirituality, inner voice, balance, wisdom. Let's see. Was the short story true that was given? One more card. Okay. I want to say this. The story that they gave, how could I put this? The story is like, and how can I explain it? The story is kind of like half of truth. And when I say half of truth, you know how you can, like, for instance, half of the story to tell, yes, he was in Target. Yes, he was with us. Yes, he left out of Target. So there are some things that were told and things that were given. Things that were given in the storyline that is true. However, it's still kind of like this. I don't know how to explain it. It's the storyline they gave, like, half of the things are true and half of the things are untruth. So they offered them this story. We offered them this story because we have to say that he was with us, because the cameras are going to tell. We have to say that, da 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 da. So these things, they're going to have to, when it goes back into it, they're going to have to actually pick the bones of the story, because there are some disbalance, some things that don't equal out, and it's, once you find out, it's going to start creating, you can really see what really happened that day. So they're going to have to go through that story and really go through that story good. I don't know if they feel like we have our story together and this is what it is, and I'm not sure about that. I think that the story, like I said, the story that they tell, half of some truth, half of some lies. So therefore, they're going to have to go through it. And I think this also points towards some of the things that they were saying online and coming online to say, because again, these two cards coming up again, conflicts, envy. There you go. So, and immaturity of feelings and guidance. They're so young. They really wasn't aware of all the things they did. And here we are, we come with the death card showing us that there was a death that happened. There's going to be a breakthrough. Someone is going to be saying something. Someone's going to tell the truth and say something, because there's something in the story that's not quite right, that's going to have to be told. And they're going to see the deceit. Because you see, I'm going to take this card by itself. Hold on. and remove this card by itself. And look at that. The Justice card is behind it. If I only can use these two cards, hold on, let me get the rest of these cards out. And then after that, we do one more cards deck, and then we're finished. But if you look at the two cards that I'm talking about, the Seven of Swords and the Justice card, the Justice cards come up. So this is going to tell me, so this is really telling me from the cards I said when I asked if they were telling the story, there are some things that they stuck a hole into and said, this is happening, that's what happened. They had a strategy. They say, we have to say this because the camera's going to see us. People may have seen us, so we're going to have to say this, and we're going to have to, like, to create. As you see, it says deception, strategy, getting away with it, lie, deceit, manipulation. So there is some type of manipulation within the stories, possibly. And then justice is basically reverse. So it's telling you right here, unfairness, deception, unreliability, denial, dishonesty, legal issues. They're going to come back again. They're going to come back after that story, and they're going to look at those stories, and they're going to call them back in. They're going to have to face the things, they're going to have to face and get questioned again about the stories that they told. So, like I said, this case may come back, and it may be opened with more questions, more people lined up, and everything from the stories that the other people told. Now, the last part, let's see what the ancestors have to say. What do you want to say about ancestors? What do you want to say about Derek Samuel case? What's surrounding the energy surrounding the case? What is the word that you want to say? Because you have the final word. What do you want to say about the case in itself? Hold on. There's going to be radical truth that is going to happen. There's some radical truth that will be discovered. Because there's going to be radical truth discovered. The radical truth is going to come from investigation. Radical truth is going to be from people talking. They're watching over this. I believe the star is about Derek, of him being in heaven right now. Him being with the ancestors, spiritual rebirth. So they are really going to bring justice for Derek. They will be bringing justice for Derek, and they will expose everything. Look at this. When I say they will expose everything, the deviant, chaos, disruption, they are going to bring that all full circle. The ancestral force is going to bring all that full circle. I can't tell you when, where, how, but they're going to bring it full circle of the truth and what happened that day. So again, like I said, it may be, that case may be getting open again. Are they still questioning people that will be in the future? Because this case is not done yet. So therefore, they still, the ancestors are working, and there will be justice brought forth, and they're going to identify all of the people in the chaos that created the destruction of this young man's death. That is the end of this reading of Derek Samuels. I offer peace and love to his family and his friends who have lost a beautiful soul. And I thank you guys for stay tuning in and staying around to listen to this reading. And until next time, stay rooted. Bye.